Chapter 4: Strategic and Organizational Development Planning. When I started my career in board transformation, I used to be a huge fan of long strategic planning retreats. Sometimes we would plan over the course of 2 days, sometimes spread across 2 weeks. While this kind of planning has its place and gets board members motivated, I have come to learn over the years that a high-level 2-hour strategic planning session can still achieve the same results, get the board to move faster, make quick decisions, and get board members invested in building and the growth of the organization. While traditional multi-day retreats have their place, they often result in a loss of momentum and a detailed plan that no one ever looks at again. A fast-paced 2-hour session, when properly prepared for, forces high-level thinking and creates an immediate bias towards action. The goal of strategic planning is to provide your board with a sense of shared purpose and to also get board members committed to the execution of the plan. In community development, we say people who plan together execute together. For organizations that have yet to engage their community, strategic planning provides you with the opportunity to connect with the community you serve, listen to their feedback, and hear the solutions they think are best for the need you're working on before bringing your board together to plan it all out. You will find a community outreach template and a strategic planning facilitation checklist in the resource hub of this book. The strategic planning process. 1. Community outreach. The strategic planning process begins with reaching out to the community to hear their thoughts about the needs you intend to meet, their perceived solutions, and what will get them to take action. You can do this using simple online surveys and polls, which is also a great way to build a list of supporters across your community. You also need to speak to stakeholders to understand their views on the needs within the community and their perceived solutions. To do this, you can simply set up a social media advert directing people to your survey form using SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, asking specific questions that provide you with insight into the needs and programs you're seeking to execute. Or you can go into the community yourself to speak to residents and stakeholders. This is one of the cheapest ways to gain community backing for your programs. It is very important that your program stems from the community and not just your own ideas. Questions for community outreach. To understand the need. When you think about the problem, for example, youth unemployment in our community, what is the biggest challenge you or people you know face? What does this problem feel like on a daily basis? To discover solutions. If you had a magic wand to solve this problem, what would the solution look like? What kind of support or program do you wish existed to help with this? To gauge action. What would motivate you to get involved in a program designed to address this issue? What would stop you from participating? 2. The pre-planning process. First, as the leader, you want to list out every aspect of the organization, from programs, partnerships, marketing, fundraising, team building, infrastructure, etc. Next, you want to engage your board members through email, asking for their ideas on these different aspects of the organization. You should then bring every piece of the feedback into one document and send it out to every board member with the invitation to the strategic planning session. This is very important for the 2-hour strategic planning session so that when you finally meet, it will be a high-level discussion towards creating a mission for each area of the organization and not a vain discussion. This is how most strategic planning retreats end up. Questions for pre-planning email. Our big picture. Looking at 12 to 24 months, what is the single most important tangible outcome we must achieve this year? Questions for pre-planning email. Looking ahead, 12 to 24 months, what is the single most important tangible outcome we must achieve to call this year a success? For example, serve 500 more families, secure our first six-figure grant, launch new mentorship program. Our reputation and marketing. Right now, what do you think is the biggest misconception about our organization in the community? What is our one specific marketing action, like a new video, a better website homepage, a specific social media campaign we could take to fix it? When people hear our name, what is the one word or feeling we want them to associate with us? Our partnerships. Name one organization, company, or community leader we're not currently working with, but whose partnership could be a game changer for our credibility and impact. Why them? Our fundraising. What is one single biggest barrier to raising money right now? If we could remove that one barrier, what would become possible? Also, name one person or company you believe we could be talking to for funding that we aren't. How can we build a more sustainable financial engine beyond our current methods? Our team and culture. What is one thing we could do to make serving on this board more meaningful and effective for everyone in this room? What teams do we need to put in place to help us accomplish our mission? What kind of culture do we need to build to attract and retain the best talent, both paid staff and high-level volunteers? Your big idea. What is one bold, specific idea you have for the organization that you haven't had a chance to share yet? Thinking about your own unique skills and passion, which of these areas are you most excited to lend your expertise to? The planning session. 3. As the founder or leader, your role in the strategic planning session is to facilitate the process and guide the discussion to achieve the overall result. The goal of the 2-hour strategic planning process is to develop a mission for each area of the organization that drives the overall mission. You do this by asking key questions such as, what do we hope to achieve with this part of the organization? What can we do to achieve it? What do we need to achieve it? While listening for feedback, sharing your own ideas, and guiding the conversation so that not too much time isn't spent in one area at the expense of others. Below are main areas most organizations focus on, but based on your mission, you may have others. As the facilitator, use a visible timer to keep each section on track. Having a parking lot, a space on the whiteboard to write down important but off-topic ideas to be addressed later. Your job is to keep the energy high and the conversation focused on the strategic, not the operational. The need and perceived solutions. Based on your community outreach, you and your board will discuss the needs and perceived solutions from the community. Programs, activities, and events. Here, you want to discuss programs, events, and activities that can be executed to meet the community's needs based upon agreed solution. You must make sure your programs truly meet the need and not just scratch the surface. Organizational profile. Mission, goals, values, and branding. In this part, you want to define your mission statement, the goals that help you achieve the mission, the objectives that help you achieve your goals, and the core values that guide your organization. You also want to talk about how you want your organization to be perceived and how you can build your entire brand around that idea. For the mission statement, one mistake most organizations make is making it all about them without including the partners, donors, and the people they need to make their work happen. You want to rephrase your mission statement to include these stakeholders so it becomes an attracting force. For example, a mission statement that says, "We work to end homelessness in Buffalo by providing housing and financial education," can be rewritten to say, "We work with passionate donors, partners, to end homelessness in Buffalo by providing housing and financial education." You get the drift. Mission defining question. When we're widely successful 5 years from now, what will be different in our community because we existed? Let's capture that outcome in a single powerful sentence that includes the partners and donors who will help us get there. Marketing. Here, you want to explore how to get your organization known, Because without people knowing your organization, you may end up struggling with fundraising. Mission defining question. To achieve our overall vision, what is the primary job of our marketing? Is it to make us the most trusted voice on our issue? To drive awareness of our services into new communities? Or to attract new donors? Let's complete the sentence. Our marketing mission is to establish this organization as partnerships. Here you want to explore the kind of partnerships you need to ensure credibility, successful funding, and support for your organization. Mission defining question. What is the strategic purpose of our partnership? Is it to add credibility, expand our program delivery, or assess the funding streams? Let's complete the sentence. Our partnership mission is to build alliances that allow us to resource development. Here you want to explore the ways to raise money for your organization and the materials needed to execute your programs. Mission defining question. What is the core purpose of our fundraising? Is it to fund the budget, or is it to build a community of investors in our mission? Let's complete the sentence. Our resource development mission is to fuel our work by human resources. Here you want to talk about the different people you need, their roles, and the organizational structure. Mission defining question. What kind of team, both staff and board, must we be to succeed? What is the non-negotiable principle that defines how we treat each other and our work? Let's complete this section. Our team mission is to foster a culture of infrastructure. Here you want to talk about the infrastructure you need, from buildings to tech to the materials required for execution. Budgeting. Lastly, you want to explore what your budget will look like and how to divide resources across the organization. The board can reach an estimate on the amount needed to run the organization based on the mission for each area, and then adjust as individual plans begin to roll in. SWOT analysis. A tool for deeper insight after defining the core mission for each area. A SWOT analysis is a powerful tool to get a 360 degrees view of your reality. It helps you analyze the organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can guide this part of the conversation with these questions. Strength. Internal. Looking inward at our organization right now, our team, our reputation, our programs. What are our greatest assets? Weaknesses. Internal. Let's be honest with ourselves. Where are we weak? What skill gaps or resource limitations are holding us back? Opportunities. External. Looking outside our organization, what trends, partnerships, or community needs could we leverage? Threats. External. What external factors could harm us or make our work harder? The insight from this SWOT analysis is not just for discussions, they are the foundation of your action plan. Every plan you create should be designed to leverage your strengths, mitigate your threats, seize your opportunities, and address your weaknesses. 4. Delegation and action planning. Now that you've created a mission statement for the different aspects of the organization and collected the views and opinions of board members, it's time to delegate. When planning, you've been taking notes on who are vocal on the different aspects. You know their skill set and passion. It's time to fit round pegs into round holes. You want to make sure you delegate each aspect of the organization to those who have the skills, experience, and interest in those areas. This way, they can deliver the best result. Your delegation is to get them to develop an in-depth action plan for that area that has been delegated to them based on the mission statement created for that area. The plan should include the step-by-step execution process, the materials needed, the people needed, the budget, and a portfolio, job description for their supervisory capacity and the different people who will be executing. They can then report the plan back to the board during your next meeting, get approval, and ask for resources and support to get started. Your role as the founder is to work with each board member to build out the different parts of the organization that has been delegated to them. providing them with support, information, and anything they need to be successful, including access to professional insight and training. By doing this, you are empowering your board members to take charge of the different areas of the organization. This is the critical moment where you resolve the founder's paradox we discussed in Chapter 1, giving you room to continue to navigate the vision, provide them with support they need, focus on the staff or people within your purview who run the day-to-day aspect of the organization. 5. Writing your strategic and organizational development plan. Your role as the founder is not to write the strategic plan alone. Your role is that of an integrator. After the planning session, you will start a master document. You will fill in the sections that the board has already agreed upon, the organizational profile, the community needs and solutions, and the high-level overview of programs. Then you will wait for your board members to deliver their delegated sections. As each board member submits their in-depth plan for marketing, partnerships, or fundraising, you will integrate it into the master document. Once all the pieces are in place, you can then complete the final section, the comprehensive budget, which is now based on the detailed board development plans. This process ensures the final document is not your plan, but truly our plan. Accountability. The main reason why most board members do not follow through on delegated roles is usually due to a lack of accountability. When people are not held accountable, they are most likely going to falter or fall off. This is why to succeed, you must set up accountability processes. 5 simple accountability processes that will ensure your board members follow through are: 1. Weekly follow-up. This is where you, the founder or the board leader, follow up with each board member twice weekly. Once on a Monday morning to discuss what needs to be done in that area of the organization for that week and what support they need. And lastly, every Friday to ask what has been done, what results were achieved, what the limitations and lessons learned were, and what needs improvement. This keeps board members in tune, knowing they are being followed up consistently. 2. Submitting a report for the board during every board meeting. This is important because it holds the board members accountable at a board level. Knowing they have to report to the board during next board meeting will keep a board member accountable so they don't look like they are the ones holding back the rest of the organization behind. Monthly goals. Allowing each board member the opportunity to decide on a monthly goal and having them report their progress towards that goal is a great way to keep them accountable. Quarterly assessments. Having the board development committee, the board recruitment committee can double as the board development committee if you do not have one already. Assess the board member based on their goals and results created in the different aspects of the organization. Gets them to sit up and do their best. Lastly, welfare follow-up. Having the board development committee follow up with board members' welfare, showing them that the organization and the board care, is a good way to keep them accountable to the organization. By strategically planning with board members, delegating responsibilities, empowering them to take charge of the different aspects of the organization, and finally setting up the accountability processes, you have set up board members to step up and begin to build out the different aspects of the organization, thereby fulfilling the mission of building an engaged board.